Today on 70 Years of Bestop, you're gonna find out why we're giving away this 70-year-old CJ3B to one of you. On today's episode, this is my friend Scott. He works for Bestop. We are going to take the Jeep, go for a little drive, talk about Bestop, the history, and four-wheeling, and all the other great things we can do out here in Moab, Utah. And you're driving.
Let's go.
All right.
See if I have the magic touch now.
It takes just like a tap on the throttle and then do it again. A little bit more tap.
That was it.
Starts pretty smooth.
It does. It does. It's just that, you know, got to have the magic touch with that key.
Yeah, the ignition switch is a little.
We're ready.
Scott Baird. Now, what is your official title?
Head of Sales and Marketing.
Okay. I mean, a lot of companies have done vehicle giveaways, but most of them are like, here's a brand new Wrangler. And I think it's really cool, like Bestop being around for 70 years, they're like, let's find something, a 70-year-old Jeep with some character.
Yeah, exactly. At first we found the original slat grill that Bestop designed their first top on.
Really?
And we started brainstorming around that a long time ago. And we went around and around on, oh, should it be?
Yeah.
How old should it be? Should it be? Should we do a CJ5? Should we find a 3A? Should we find a 3B?
Well, I remember when we were first kind of talking about this, there was a little bit of concern where people were like, the 3B's kind of funny looking. But at the end of the day, there's two things. This is the same year as the company.
Right.
And someone's going to win it.
Right.
You would take a free Jeep Compass if you won it. Like, you might be like, I don't want to go buy one.
Oh, I would take even.
And the more that you drive this, the more you're like, this is actually really cool.
It's epic. It's epic. And when you look at for me, the 3B, the high hood, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's going back in the family, there was an old 3B. Grandpa had one on the farm.
Yep.
And to me, it's special.
Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Idaho, southeast Idaho.
And did you grow up Jeeping?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I grew up around Jeeps.
Yep. Motorcycles,
snowmobiles, cars, trucks, muscle cars, and then horsepower, farm trucks.
Yeah.
A lot of Jeeps on farms. And my buddy in high school had a YJ with a 4-cylinder, and we went everywhere in that thing. And we built it up and put sound systems in it. And my first car was a Toyota Hilux.
Oh, okay.
1976.
Nice.
I didn't have any money. My dad had a Hilux that had been rolled over. The cab was smashed. It was sitting in our back field. I said, Dad, if we can fix that, can I drive it?
That's awesome.
So I went and bought a manual.
Started wrenching.
Found a cab at a junkyard. And all I could think about was 4 wheels, man. Freedom of 4 wheels. And so we found a cab, and he and I worked on it, and I drove that for 5 years.
Nice.
I was a little older for my grade. I mean, I didn't have a license, but farm community.
Yeah.
I would drive it. I would drive it anywhere. I was driving 10-wheel farm trucks before I had a license, and man, I couldn't have been happier in that old truck. And that's kind of what started it for me.
Yeah. So, how did you end up from Idaho going to Bestop? You just kind of get into the off-road scene, and
Yeah, so I mean, I have fallen in love with Jeeping in the last 10 years.
yeah,
And the whole family just loves it, and it's a part of it's absolutely an ingrained part of our family and everything we do. And my kids, it's all they've ever known is Jeeps and off-roading.
you and your wife both have Jeeps,
We both have Jeeps now.
which you also have a lot of kids.
I do.
So you can either buy one big truck or you can buy two trucks. So you take all the kids and everybody's in a different
Right,
Jeep.
right. You know, and it's kind of like, you know, it's like dodgeball, you know?
Yep.
Line up and we'll pick who gets to ride in which
Yeah.
Jeep. We love it. We love it. Now, Colorado, Utah, major Jeep scene, major Jeep market.
Yeah.
And that's where I really got the opportunity to travel, really the world, and see the Jeep culture off-road in some incredible places. And what really just blew my mind was that the Jeep culture, the Jeep experience, man, it didn't matter if you were in Korea, Dubai, Canada, South America.
They love them everywhere.
It's a part of so many people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, it brings people together, right? You look at organizations like Jeep Jamboree, Red Rock Four-Wheelers, and it brings those people together.
How old are your kids? Are they getting to the age where they want Jeeps?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my oldest is 13.
Oh.
She drives the big Jeep every now and then. Just, you know,
Yeah.
close course.
Professional driver.
Yep, yep. And like I was telling you before, one of our favorite things to do on Saturday is take the top off. My Jeep has a third row in it.
Yeah.
And we'll just head out down to downtown and get some ice cream in it. And
So, how much of the history of Bestop do you know?
oh,
So you said
I
that.
know some milestones.
So, Tom
Bradley. Yep.
was the guy, and he was doing upholstery. Was he the upholstery shop, or did he go to an upholstery shop and get them to start making it?
No, he started it.
Okay.
He started making tops, like anyone, small operation in Colorado.
Because it snows there.
Because it snows.
People want to.
1954,
Yep.
and was making tops for Willys, for Army Jeeps,
Yep.
and started just producing more and more tops as the Jeeps progressed. 1954, this was the current model, but he actually started much earlier
Yep.
for the 2As and the slack grill. And it just really blew up from there. And they started as the Jeep got better,
Yep.
the tops got better.
Oh yeah.
The CJ5, the CJ6, the CJ7, the YJ, the TJ just kept going and going. Other companies got involved. We moved to Boulder, Colorado, or in that area, to the mountains, closer to the mountains.
Yep.
Combined with a company in Longmont. You heard of company, remember LeBras?
Yeah.
That became part of the group.
Oh wow.
Dual-matic,
Yep.
that was part of it.
Yep. I think that was the hub company.
That was the hubs, yep.
Which is kind of funny because like everybody knows Bestop for tops and Warren for winches, but actually both of them at one time made hubs. Warren still does.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird to see how these two iconic brands, like they were competitors at one time and then they kind of found their niche.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to see through the history, the early days of this whole market.
Yeah.
and people were just making, kind of exploring and trying to innovate. It really was started off as replacement parts,
Yeah.
right?
It wasn't about lift kits and 40-inch tires. It was like, how about we just keep warm in the winter?
Right,
How about we
right.
just unlock the hubs if we want to drive down the road?
It's interesting to see the evolution of the soft top, how the soft top was solving a problem to help you cover up because, you know, you usually weren't.
Right.
And now, as we went into the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, it's been kind of shifted a little bit to be a way to be topless, to take your hard top off and allow you to have an easier way to be topless,
Yep.
which is kind of the whole point of the Jeep,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. That's what makes it so unique is that you can take the top off.
Take the top off, the doors off, and make it easy to cover back up again, right?
We got a big group of bikes we might need to kind of creep by.
And then if you go into the 80s, fast forward to the 80s, Bestop began a, 38-year relationship with Jeep.
So is that when Bestops became the OEM top?
That's when it started, was with the YJ.
Oh, okay.
You know, the other night, the kids were like, what's this movie, Jurassic Park? I've never seen this. And I'm like, honey, what do you think? And you show it to them and give them nightmares. And as you know, classic Jurassic Park, YJ's with the Jurassic Park logo on it.
Yep.
And there's that scene when he's trying to get out of there fast to get to the boat. You see all those tan spice tops on those YJs.
And you're like, hey, those are
Ah,
ours.
there we go. You know, that's when it kind of all started.
Yep.
And we've enjoyed a fantastic relationship with Jeep over the years and all the different design changes they've gone through.
Well, the factory top that Bestop makes for Jeep right now, that top's amazing. It works so good. It's so easy to take up and down and easy to open. And
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wish I could say I designed it, but our engineers are
Yep.
phenomenal, and they've been doing this a really long time, and they're not done. I mean, the new top that we're showing this week on the two-door, it's like, how could the top get any better?
Yep.
Well, they broke the mold and took a whole new approach,
Yep.
you know, and so as the Jeep has progressed, so have our tops and our design philosophy.
Well, Jeeps used to be for some guy that wanted to go four-wheeling or hunting, and now there's like moms hauling kids, and it's like you really need to keep the top as easy to work as the whole rest of the vehicle does.
You know, that's a really interesting point, right? People want a top that
It's easy.
it's easy, it's premium, right? It looks good.
It's warm.
It's warmer, that's a little better with sound insulation, and
It's
something you could live with all year long.
yeah. Well, sometimes it seems like the Bestop top is quieter than the hard top. Like there's less
Less noise sometimes.
yeah, less echoing inside.
You know, my wife, when she got her Jeep, she said, "You're not doing any of that. Lift kits, big tires. You're not going to ruin my Jeep." I beg to differ.
Yeah.
She says, "But you are going to put my Sunrider on." First day that Jeep came home, hard panels went up in the rafters of the garage. Nice, safe and sound. And the Sunrider is on there all year.
Oh yeah.
And that product has quickly become our #1 seller.
Yeah.
A lot of times I call that the soft top to the hard top.
Yeah.
It gives you the best of both worlds, right? Now,
I just picked up a hard top for my little two-door because I want to install a Sunrider on it and try it out.
you know, and
But
it doesn't give you that full convertible feel,
Right.
but it's pretty dang close.
Yeah.
You know? And then last year we just added a retractable shade so you can keep it open even longer. But
Yeah.
you know, and something that people don't realize a lot of times is that the early 2000s was a big milestone for us. We took our soft top approach to convertible tops and we took it to the truck market.
Oh yeah.
And we introduced the Super Top, the truck.
Yep.
And that is still a product that people go, wow, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I could have a full top for my bed, a full, like, camper type shell. But when I don't want it, it just
Slide it all forward.
convertible.
And it's great for like guys with motorcycles. You can like push it forward, load a whole motorcycle in, go out to the desert, fold it back. You can camp in it while you're riding, and then convert it again.
We camp in it. I've got a little Tacoma. Take the kids up and camp in the back. But what I find is that I leave it up most of the time. And when I don't need it, just blow it away.
So, Bestop, little upholstery shop. They start making tops for flat fenders, and then you guys are coming up on 70 years of business.
It's gone through the phases of hand designing, hand drawing patterns, hand cutting, hand sewing, to moving to computerization. I mean, it's just incredible to see now what we're doing now in the plant.
Yeah.
In our plant. I mean, massive facility, state-of-the-art technology, state-of-the-art sewing, cutting, consistency, and really becoming that OE top.
Yep.
Really pushed us to excellence.
Yeah. And are you still making tops for just about all of the older models?
Yeah. I mean, this top that we have on today, this is a production top.
Yeah.
This came right off of our shelf in our warehouse.
Nice.
CJ6, CJ5. We've even got support for classic Bronco.
Nice.
We've got support for FJ40s. We've got support for a lot of these off-road vehicles from way in the past.
Nice. Now, have you guys considered taking some of your modern technology and applying it to older versions?
That comes up here and there where applicable. For example, the new top that we're coming out with for the two-door here in April.
Yeah.
It's so great that that's just the discussion right now. Do we go back to the tried and true JK top, the tried and true JL top even that's been a huge success, and take that to the next level? And as a manufacturer, as a designer, that's always exciting.
Yeah. As we've seen in Moab, there's definitely a big trend of people bringing older Jeeps to digging them out of the woods and like fixing them up. And
absolutely. And one of our best parts of our sales mix is that group.
Yeah.
The lifetime ownership of especially these classics.
Yep.
Those customers really care about their Jeeps or their Broncos or their Toyotas or whatever. They really care. We want those tops to last a long time, and it's not uncommon to see a really old top that's snapping in place, holding up. Zippers are still working. We see that all the time. But yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the idea behind this Jeep as a giveaway.
Absolutely. This has been a lot of fun. Probably one of the more exciting projects to see the team really get their arms around it, get excited about it. A long time ago, we kind of threw the idea around. I would say it's been about a year, maybe two now, this idea of finding an old, clean, and it's gone back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Do we find a well patina Jeep, that's not restored, or do we find something as beautiful as this?
Well, there's so many options too, because you're like, do we find one that's been modified and is on bigger tires?
Yeah.
There's a whole contingent that love that. Or do you find one that's a barn find and cobwebs?
Absolutely.
Because people love those.
They're all great.
Yeah.
I want all of them.
Yeah.
But what it came down to was we wanted to find something that really represented the Jeep when it was new.
Yep.
Back then.
Yep.
New top. With a little bit of flair. This Jeep has one of the best tires on the market, the BFG KM3.
Yep.
And it just adds that little extra touch to it. But what we landed on was finding something like this, and for kind of went around back and forth. Do we want to keep it? Do we want to just buy it for content and take it to events and let people see it and let people experience our heritage and our history? And kind of keep it to ourselves and put it in the lobby and let people look at it and as a story piece, a time capsule. And as the ideas and the conversations evolved, it turned into, someone's got to own this.
What's cool though is that whoever wins this, they can do whatever they want to it.
That was what we wanted. We wanted a clean canvas, right?
Yeah.
Something that was beautiful, the body's beautiful, mechanically it's done, it's there, but it's a starting point, right? It can become part of their story.
Right. They can do engine swaps and axles and bigger tires, or keep it the way it is and like drive it until it has its own patina, and like any direction. This is a great starting point. And the thing that's also different and unique is that this isn't a brand new Wrangler. The person that wins this will be getting something that's fun and unique, but it's not going to be, they have to kind of wrap their head around the fact that this is a 70-year-old Jeep.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of getting used to, but by the time you get used to it, then you're like, I just want to drive that. It's so fun.
It's an experience. Every piece of it is an experience. And I would love nothing more than to come back here at Moab every year and see this Jeep show up with its new owner.
Yeah.
Or some other event across the country.
Yeah, like the flat fender roundup that's every Friday where tons of flat fenders go out. Like, we'd love to see this thing with the new, whoever wins it, to come to that and be bouncing along the trail.
See what they've done, absolutely. It's that the story, I keep going back to that, the story is so huge. And I feel like with Bestop, because of the 70 years, we run into so many of those stories.
Yeah.
Just standing there this morning in the parking lot, and everybo's got a picture, a story they want to share, and sometimes it even gets a little emotional, right?
Yeah.
It was my mom's Jeep, it was her. I have memories of this, picking up my friends and going to school or going to the pool, and
my dad took me hunting, and we were in the Jeep with the top in the snow, and there's all of those things that have happened.
And to see, especially when they've hung on to them.
Yeah.
And they've took care of them, they've taken care of them, and they've kept it in the family, and it's incredible how something like a car can mean so much.
Oh yeah, they say it's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand, and I don't even know that Jeep people can always explain it. It's just like, well, it's because it's a little bit different to everybody. I grew up on a farm driving tractors, and I wanted a Jeep because I could have the same open top feel in my vehicle as I did on the tractors on the farm. And for the next guy, it's like, I was in the military and I liked driving the off-road Jeeps. And for the next guy, it's like, I went hunting, or like my mom and dad took us camping in Jeeps. So there's so much of that connection.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me see.
I remember the first time I came to Moab.
Oh yeah.
JK on 35-inch tires, all-terrains.
You thought you had the baddest.
Oh man, and it was mind-blowing. And I only had 3 kids at the time.
Yeah.
And they were hanging out the Jeep, out the window, and they still remember it, even when they were super small. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And we've been hooked ever since. And my dad's here in Moab with me this week.
Yeah.
His first time. He bought a YJ.
How old is he?
70.
Another milestone. Have you let him drive this yet?
Not yet, but he wants to.
We'll wait till we're all done filming. Because he'll probably get in it and not get back out.
He was very excited to see us ride in it today.
He was probably very sad when you told him he can't win it.
I haven't broke the news yet. Probably should though. And he brought his YJ out here, bought a YJ, towed it down here from drove 17 hours.
Yeah.
To experience it.
Yeah.
And his very first time behind the wheel of this thing. We take him to Hell's Revenge.
Oh yeah.
And now he and I are never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
And to see the look on his face as he's doing the obstacles and he's scared, he doesn't know what's gonna happen, what can the Jeep do, you know?
Yep.
And that triumph, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, now we're already talking about when can we get back here?
I mean, Moab definitely has challenging trails, but it also has trails that look way more challenging than they really are. A lot of mental games, and the vehicle is so capable. Yeah.
That it surprises you.
And there's so much traction on a lot of this slick rock that you can just crawl right up stuff that you wouldn't expect to do.
No place like it, really.
Yeah. Imagine early 1950s and you're out in Moab, Utah, and you're flat fender looking for uranium. Like when they discovered uranium out here,
right?
There was a guy in one of these flat fenders.
Yeah. And that was really what started all of it, right? Out here?
It was a little town, but it turned into a uranium boom town for years.
And before that was a lot of like dinosaur digging and stuff going on out here.
There's so many cool things out here, but so if you go to the Sunset Grill up on top of the hill, you can see the flat fender. It's on display. It's just not restored. It's just sitting up there on top of the pile.
I've seen it.
And that's the flat fender that the guy, I don't remember his name, but he kind of was the one to discover uranium and kind of turned this town into a boom town for a while. Like all of the trails out here, like most of them were opened up in Jeeps like this. Imagine opening Hell's Revenge.
Oh man.
Like being the first guy to run Hell's Revenge in one of these. Like it's
no black marks to follow.
No.
No, it was like I wonder if I can get up that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, nowadays
exploring and adventure,
we're so spoiled by the performance of the Jeeps. And
do you think he had like a spotter? With a walkie-talkie?
No. He probably had a beard and a dog, and that was about the extent of it.
But I mean, you know, Fred, go back to that time period. I mean, they probably thought about how lucky they were to have this, right?
No, that's the thing. Like,
you know, and think about like, before me, you know, they were on foot or
that's the
wagons and
imagine
horses.
Coming out here, native people just walking across this. Like if you were trying to walk across this, you'd be like, where am I going to find water? It's just wild.
But no, I mean, it's just a perspective, right? I mean, when this was brand new, think about it, all right? It's 1954. You just walk home with you drive it home, and you're just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
But you're not even thinking like, this is going to be so fun to go four-wheeling in. You're literally thinking, this will get me out to the barn in the winter or get me out up on top of that hill for whatever government project I'm working on. Like, it was just a tool.
It's a tool, a utilitarian. One of the things I love so much, everybody loves about, you know, the Jeep is how the design has persisted.
Yeah.
It has sustained through the years.
The
slotted grille, the headlights.
You can park this beside a brand new JL, and you know that they're related.
Yes.
It's not like it is morphed into a total jelly bean, and you're like,
right.
I mean, yes, it's 100 miles different, but it's also like that's because of that. That's because of that. The windshield, like the grill. And there's so many people that were like, if you walked into a design studio nowadays and told them to build a vehicle with these parameters, they'd be like, why would you want that? Why do you want a flat windshield? Why do you want exposed bolts and hinges? But when you see the heritage of it, then it all kind of makes sense. What do you think of driving the CJ3B, Scott?
Oh man, that is the most fun I've had in a long time, and I cannot think of a better Jeep to help tell our story.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear what some of our other friends think of it and their story.
We are out here in Moab, Utah for a week. We're gonna have so many fun people driving this thing, stories getting told, but most importantly, how can somebody win this thing? Everybody wants to know how they can take it home.
It's so easy. You just go to bestop.com. All the information is on there. You'll be done in no time.
Awesome. That's it for this first episode of the 70 Years of Bestop series. Stay tuned for more fun adventures with this little Jeep.